Everybody, this is Nifty Culture with a very special edition. We have a very fun drop that's happening today, and we have Art from the platform, who's representing the platform, wants to talk a little bit about the new platform. And then we have Charles, who is awesome, who has some awesome stories about the art itself. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing, man? This is a really fun time. Thanks for making the time to talk today.
Yeah, for sure. As far as thanks for having us. I've been a fan of you guys and also the content you guys create, not just only with the video, but also on the server, the Discord server. So it's really good to be here.
Now, Art, are you getting some sleep?
Whole new world for me.
So. Charles, new world, bringing you into this new world, huh?
Yeah.
You liking all this exposure, all the fun? It's like it's like a new renaissance for photography and the way to trade and the way to add value to photography. It's a beautiful new renaissance.
Yeah,
is that how you see it?
It's interesting. I mean, I see it. I guess I'm seeing it as sort of these high-end art trading cards or something. I don't know. I haven't quite got a full grasp on the whole.
Everyone wants that piece of that history. You were there recording that. You were there recording the history. Yeah. Now we all want a piece of that history.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. So, we have to create some value there and see what happens. Yeah.
No, we love the idea behind the platform itself, and we love your drop specifically. So, Art, would you want to tell us? I'm going to bring up the platform. Yeah. I'm going to show it around. Please tell us a little bit about it, and then we're going to go right into the drop.
Yeah, great. So my name is Art Min. I'm one of the co-founders of Phosphene, and we are a curated portal of regenerative NFTs. And what that means is we curate and sell NFTs from some of your favorite artists and musicians to collectors looking to enhance their collection and make a personalized contribution to healing the planet. This came about because a good friend of mine, who's my co-founder, Kirsten Anderson, we've known each other for almost 20 years, and she's been an art gallery owner in Seattle for about that long, if not longer. And we were just talking about the state of NFTs and, with the Beeple auction and how there's an opportunity for gallerists and people with this perspective that could bridge the legacy world. So for established artists like Charles and others to this new world. And do it in a way that has that thoughtfulness around curation as well as long-term career planning, as well as making collectors happy, making it easier for them to access the content. As you know, it's still really hard tech. Every day I see posts about people getting ripped off and scams and whatnot. So we really try to bridge that by using not only our understanding and kind of network of artists and what they're looking to do, but also with technology. How do we make sure that we make the best technology choices so that everyone's happy? And the other part, aside from just the curation part, is we also wanted to make an impact. I was really excited to see when, I think it was Nifty Gateway, did an auction with Beeple and a bunch of folks to donate to nonprofits around climate. But having worked in the climate space for a while and worked in philanthropy and in conservation for a while, I noticed that their selection of nonprofits weren't necessarily additive, in terms of impact. And so we thought there could be a better way to create and also contribute resources to proven and verified climate solutions. I mean, Ethereum at the end of the day, emits like 6 million tons a year of carbon, which is a drop in the bucket relative to the 33 billion tons a year. But at the same time, if we can, avoid and reduce that, that will have an impact. So we're looking to basically support proven climate solutions with the sales that we do with NFTs.
We love that idea. I think more people are going to need to focus on that as well. I think you're going to get the whole sustainability economy behind you, which is going to be great. And so with your platform, you still have a level of curation. And I think that's Malachi and I and the whole team, we think that's very important. I mean, you see what's happening in the space right now, almost overloaded with NFTs. Yeah. And I love the fact that you're curating, you're bringing unique, like Charles, you're bringing unique people into the space like Charles, and your drops are very exclusive and very small.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so, at the end of the day, what you just said really resonates, because having been a collector for 20 years, I've been victim to hype cycles. You know,
Yep.
In my office, I've got quite a bit of artwork. I've got a Banksy there and Mark Ryden.
Me
And
too. I got Banksy right there. Right
oh,
there.
right on. Cool. Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a print.
Cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, you really have to kind of stay plugged into these, small communities, whether they're online forums or, groups and whatnot. And as you said, it's really hard as a collector, especially as a new collector. It's daunting to see like, collectibles projects getting launched or other NFT drops, and yeah, your mind's just blown. So,
Yeah.
and it's not to say that we're doing this from a financial perspective, but that is an element and driver, in this space today. So, what we try to do is focus on, there's no formula for this, but we really think about culture, history, and also scarcity and uniqueness of the story, for the artists and pieces that we can get out. And then we're also experimenting, just because of my tech background, with unique ways to pair the content with different applications and utility for the NFTs. Like, for example, the last one we did, I think we were the first one to pair a Bitcoin with an NFT, meaning that if you won the NFT, we gave you a Bitcoin. So that was kind of fun.
Cool.
And yeah, so we're really, and we're still early, right? I mean, all of us are still trying to figure this out, but we're really excited about what the potential of NFTs are in the world.
So this is your second drop. This will be your number
fourth.
2.
This is
the fourth drop.
One. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. And is this the biggest one yet? Will this be the largest collection
This
yet?
will be, yeah. In terms of like mainstream interest, we just tweeted that Pranksy and Brian Brinkman, kind of aped in. They were really excited about the project, and so
nice, good.
Yeah, so we did a small whitelist preview, and buyer, thing like you would in a traditional art gallery. So yeah, so this has been huge. Like, we've gotten a lot of interest in this, and I'm really excited for Charles because, this is, and I do want to turn it over to him. But he's got a really unique story, and the last thing to bridge that, I'll say, like, I'm a kid of grunge. I grew up in the '90s, and I've gotten beaten up in mosh pits. I remember waiting in line at record album stores to get the next CD, and for me to kind of one, work with him is a privilege and honor, but two, be able to share the story. And it literally was like opening a time capsule, of like, holy grails. And I got emotional, physically emotional looking at these images, especially for the artists that have passed on. And yeah, it's it's been amazing, to work with him in a short period of time recently, but and hopefully in the future. So,
how do you like this, Charles? How do you love this renaissance? Yeah.
Well, one important aspect for me about working with Phosphene is the keeping it local aspect, which has always been a part and parcel of this work and my art, is the fact that it is, there is a sort of insular, for better or worse, local scene, and just sticking with that and being true and keeping my intention around that. I've been approached previously by brokers or dealers in Tokyo, Toronto, etc., that wanted to work with me with NFTs, but it just wasn't, I couldn't get my head around it and wasn't quite there. But sitting down and talking with Kirsten, who I've also known for 20 plus years, and Art just really sold me and cemented me on this platform and moving ahead, presenting this work.
How did you get approached on this project?
Kirsten just emailed me and was like, "Let's sit down and talk." I said, "Sure, I'm willing. I'm open and willing." And she definitely convinced me, and in particular the carbon offset was something that I was concerned about, and the fact that they had that in place was very important. Yeah.
So you're from Seattle, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're still in Seattle, correct?
I'm still in Seattle. Yeah.
So you're right in that hot spot of all the awesome grunge stuff that happened back in the '90s. You're right there.
Yeah. I mean, not, it's up the street. Yeah, I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, It's
Well, I love
nuts.
the locations for some of these. So we did something fun where under properties we created like the band, the location, and the year. And a lot of these are like Charles's apartment. Like
Oh,
these
wow.
guys came
Wow.
in, and I'm like, that just blows my mind. To have.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, I mean, like the
I don't.
L7 picture was just my. You can still see it. It's behind the Safeway up there on 14th and Denny. This old neoclassical house that we had the top floor of, and I think our total rent at the time was about, for 5 of us, was about $500. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, of course, at one point we literally had mushrooms growing on the wall in the living room, but still, it worked.
Nice.
I had just my Bogan auto poles and a sheet of seamless paper that I'd stick up in the living room, and for example, L7 there, just storm. First time I met them, these girls from LA, and they just stormed in and were like, "Jazz, take our picture," and we're just like going crazy in the living room. And I'm just like, "Oh God, this kind of prudish Pacific Northwest kid," and I'm like taking their picture. It was the craziest photo shoot ever.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah, no, it was fun. It was just it was so DIY. We really didn't have, other than Sub Pop and the bands themselves, we weren't beholden to anyone else. So we could kind of, for me, it was like experimenting as much as the bands were experimenting, and just shooting away. Now this collection here is a little bit different from the work that I'm mostly known for, which is sort of the blurry, crazy live stuff. But I kind of wanted to bring some of that humor and, as I say, insouciance back into what grunge was about for the first drop. So sort of introducing the key players and just, I don't know, to me, it's like these lighter moments really kind of bring out the humanity in them. There's
I
been a
agree
lot
with
of
that
darkness and
approach.
tragedy around the whole grunge Seattle music scene. So kind of wanted to start with that light and humor, and then perhaps in future drops, we'll explore other avenues of the work and aspects of the grunge scene.
I think that's a smart way of going about it. You're going to capture that wide audience right now, and then you can curate that audience to those more emotional scenes,
And we
those
didn't want to
deeper
start
scenes.
with what I call my greatest hits per se, because I'm new to this platform, so I really wanted to test it with some lesser seen images. Not to say they're lesser images, but lesser seen and a different, and to sort of as we move forward, if we do more drops here, creating them. I'm kind of hedging because we're sort of still working this plan out. I'm hedging my words here. Is to go thematically,
Yeah.
For example, I have a whole bunch of color. I'm not known for color, but I have a bunch of color work as well. So we even just do a color theme, that sort of thing. There's a rare piece there that's on the foundation.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I just love, one of the things, like the NFTs are, especially in this category, becoming, a way to go back and look back and re-explore some of the tough stuff. And photographers have oftentimes a deep catalog where you have to pick, there could be 100 amazing pictures in a day, but you just pick the one. And now the NFTs provide this medium to reshare some of those stories that weren't necessarily explored. And then when you think about the properties that add, like when you think about, geotagging and everything else that comes with that, it's like, I may want to collect my Nirvana piece. I may want to go collect my Soundgarden piece or my Chris Cornell piece or whomever. And there aren't any in this collection. I'm a huge Chris Cornell fan, but I assume that at some point there could be. And so there's just so much to explore. And I just love everything about it.
And I was always known if you talk to any art directors or photo editors, I was always known as a high hit photographer. So, if I take 36 pictures, 24 of them are pretty damn good.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, what I think would be great is people, yeah, along, they build up their own little sort of collection of this work. So, it's not, won't necessarily just be standalone pieces for people, but they can have a whole, I don't
You'll
know,
want a
maybe
collection.
gallery. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll want a collection of it.
Well, one thing that Charles mentioned, which it was kind of a spur of the moment idea, but one of the pieces is a proof sheet, which if you're not familiar with it, think of it as just like a bunch of pictures from a shoot. You are trying to, you're making notes and you're trying to, pick the one that works. Yeah, there you go on the bottom left. And what I love about this one is that it has Charles's handwriting, and of the time, when he was working on this, the shoot and trying to pick one out. And I could be mistaken, but I've not seen anyone do an NFT of a proof sheet, especially of this quality, with the Nirvana 1.0 team, on. So, yeah, but Charles, do you want to talk a little bit about the proof sheet and kind of like the process, around that?
Yeah, so I guess I did have a young person interviewing me a while back in the studio, and they saw a stack of my negatives and proof sheets, and they were like, what are these? Somebody in their early 20s, and I'm like, all right, okay, here we go. So yeah, I mean, the process was that these is medium format, which is the larger square images. You get 12 per roll on a paper roll, and I literally would process this roll of film. I think at the time I had a closet in the Sub Pop offices where I'd set up a dark room in the back of the warehouse. So these were souped there by me, and then you put them in a plastic sleeve and then lay it out over a piece of paper with a piece of glass, make your proof sheet, and so and which is on the you can see on the left hand side there, part of the label that Art was talking about that was on the plastic sleeve. So yeah, and this particular shoot, it was funny because Kurt walked in and he's like, "Oh God, not a white backdrop," and I'm like, "Okay." I was kind of, like I say, going through my Avdon for the poor at the time, feeling. So he was like, "Okay," and I look around and I see a black spray paint can, and I'm like, "Here, do something." And he just went over and wrote a plus minus on the back. I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. We can run with that. What's fascinating is throughout the shoot, Chad is always sitting under the minus, and he was out of the band a month later.
Interesting.
Yeah, which was kind of like, oh God, guys, why did we even bother to do the shoot? Because we're kind of useless at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
But even though it might be not usable for
I don't know
commercial,
I don't know what their relationship was, but he was kind of subdued through the whole thing, and you can kind of see, like, for example, Kurt and Chris gleefully flipping off the camera, and he's sort of standing aside.
Interesting. That story makes it that much more equitable. I love that.
And I love the sort of awkwardness of them there, at the beginning of the roll. And I kind of like, when I shot, I kind of didn't worry about whether I got the lights in it or, sort of the artifices of the whole thing, which I sometimes enjoy. Yeah. I'm a pretty loose shooter with most of my stuff, so not in this case, but I'd say good 50% of my live photos, I'm not even looking through the viewfinder when I'm shooting.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
How many times did you get to interact with Nirvana and take some pictures like this?
I think we did I don't know, 4 or 5, half dozen maybe sessions, and I think I shot about a dozen shows or so.
So you had a decent relationship, I'm sure.
Decent, yeah, not nearly, and hindsight is 20/20. If I had known what was gonna go on, I would have been glued to them probably more. Maybe taking less pictures of like seaweed or something and more.
Could you tell there was a spark?
Time, I'm everybody. All the bands wanted me to shoot.
Yeah, everybody.
Them, so, and
Sure.
Yeah, often the likes of Nirvana or Soundgarden are out on the road, and my credit card was not it had a very small limit at that point, so it wasn't like, oh, I'll just go out on the road with these guys. And so yeah, there were always bands, and when you're given a job or an assignment, well, that seaweed is just as important as that Nirvana really at the time. So
you take it for granted, like I'm sure everyone did at that time. Everyone who was in and around that grunge scene that didn't know what a massive excitement and everything that was going to come with it, but how quickly it would change and evolve, and the pain and everything that happened slowly after it and for a long time after it. It's really interesting. We're talking about Nirvana quite a bit here, but there's also pictures of Eddie Vedder. Like it's so
Eddie Vedder.
You're probably like, oh, Nirvana, cool. Oh, Eddie Vedder, cool. Like, oh, Chris Cornell, like Pearl Jam. What? It's just like,
yeah. I mean,
it's just normal, right?
I work with this stuff practically every day, so
right.
I have to. I have to put a little distance, and it's sometimes difficult for me to, step back and see how other people are seeing it as well. One thing I often bring up is the fact that this was kind of the last great musical movement, at least of rock and roll, before the internet. So with the introduction of the internet and digital technology, it all kind of changed the way we access music and culture. And so none of the pictures were all shot on film, for one thing. Sort of the last big movement that would happen. And so there's that unique quality, I think, there that's still, because it's still accessible in a lot of ways. I mean, Pearl Jam's still playing, Mudhoney's still playing, etc. And stuff is still coming, archive material is still coming up and being released that people haven't seen. That it still resonates more so than maybe to younger people, more so than the Beatles or something like that. That seems really old and far away. But I think that this, and that angst of the music, I still think resonates a lot with young people. What's been fascinating is to see how in the last few years the hip hop scene kind of has embraced grunge or picked up on grunge. I think, I went to the Complex Con. I had a booth there with some hip hop people, and just to see that interest, that kind of cross cultural barriers breaking down was great.
No, I love it. You even have one with Dave in here.
What's that?
Right, you got one with Dave. You got Dave Grohl in here.
Yeah. No, this is the last lineup here of the band, obviously. Yeah. So
we love the entire collection, Charles. I think this brings a lot of authenticity. There's a lot of depth to this. I think it's gonna bring a large market, of rock and roll in general. And I like the small, curated, very authentic, kind of timeless photos. I love this.
And it's mature. Like, I think that's something that the NFT space needs massively. And so that's what excites me, is there's a lot more maturity that comes with this. And that's going to bring more mature collectors, more mature audience. And that's good for the entire ecosystem.
See, Charles, us old guys have a role in the new world here.
Yeah.
We can still hang.
So, it works fast. I mean, Art and I, we had our meeting last Friday, and then it was like, well, do you want to drop NFTs on Wednesday? And I'm like, sure, let's do it.
Well, yeah, you did talk to Kirsten, like, I think a couple months ago. Like, it wasn't like,
I did, yeah, we did talk a while back.
Things move fast here.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, my wife's a PM for Xbox Live, so I kind of know how that.
Nice.
All that.
That's right. Yeah.
Nice. So, Art, do you want to tell us a little bit about the drop and kind of some details for today?
For sure, sure, yeah. So we just uploaded the collections on public view, as you see here on OpenSea, as well as a foundation auction of that color piece that we saw earlier. And we're going to be dropping that. We're going to target, we haven't announced this publicly, so we'll be doing it here, around 12 p.m. Pacific time. But the thing is, we know that there's a bunch of projects dropping today, so we want to be conscious of the gas price with Ethereum. And so, one of the things, the reasons why we price these at a very approachable prices, like 0.1 ETH for the 101s, and then there'll be 0.025 ETH for the addition of 10, is we really want to hopefully bring on board new collectors. And even with the preview, we actually selected, obviously, Pranksy and Brian, but there was an NFT culture Discord member that was really excited by this. And so I reached out to him. It's like, hey, would you like to purchase this? And so that's for us going to be really, and that's also the whole message around grunge, is the approachable kind of, not the hairspray and big hair rock and, something for the other guys. And so, so we're going to shoot for about noon today. But what I'd love to do is announce on your Discord server, NFT Culture Discord server, the exact time, and specifically like maybe a minute or two before we drop it. So make sure you guys, join the Discord server. It's a great community. And that way we'll hopefully get some of the smaller and new collectors to get some of Charles' pieces. So
yeah, you'll see the press release come out within the next hour. Please, Art, give us that insight, and we'll go ahead and throw it around the Discord. I'm sure this is going to sell out like this. It's going to sell out like this.
I think Art, so you're in our Discord. You're just going to surprise us all and share it, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm happy to do that. I can.
Awesome.
I'll just give everyone a heads up on the general, channel,
Cool.
and just say, hey guys, it's up.
Awesome.
And that way,
It's
I
gonna be.
I love that you made it affordable too. By the way,
Super affordable.
Like this is a when you think about like certain projects that are just a good way to benefit long term from NFTs. If you want to bet, grunge isn't going anywhere, right? This is a part of history. Like it's an affordable part of history, which is completely unique. If you look at a lot of other photography art in the curated galleries and everything else, these could be 50,000 plus, and just the fact that this is attainable is incredibly awesome for me personally. I think like you guys hit it out of the park with pricing, bringing on new collectors.
Yes.
every piece of this is really exciting for us.
Yeah,
I expect your next drop. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, yeah, and this is actually, so with Kirsten, she is all about long-term career management, and she's got a great track record of bringing a lot of small artists into bigger and better things. And this was a lesson I learned from her, which is, you want to be humble. Even though Charles has an amazing career and a huge pedigree, we want to be humble in, his first entry into the NFT space. And then, as you said, laid the foundation for longer term success. So, yeah.
I think you're knocking it out of the park with this.
Yeah, through the years, I sell, physical prints as well as sort of one of my key ways of making money these days. But sorry, it's early. I'm losing words. But I, to me, it's always been like, well, zero is zero. So if you totally overprice something, and you don't sell it, well, that's just zero, whereas it's always good to get stuff out there and just see how it builds, because if you sort of start knocking down the additions, then they become more valuable. So it's great. It's a great start, and then we'll just see where it goes from here.
Charles, I expect some other drops from you, man, in the next coming months, man. I want to see some more of the treasure trove that you have in here.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see.
Oh yeah, we're lining them up. So yeah.
No, we appreciate you coming on and talking about the stories, man. And we're a big fan. We love what you're doing with the space here. We love you bringing the grunge to the NFT space. It's great. Art, thanks for talking about the platform. We love the platform too. Very, very awesome. Please post in the Discord when this drop happens. It's going to sell out like that. And guys, let's let's schedule something else for another week from now for a follow up on this drop, and let's talk about something new next. Art, let's do that
for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would love to come back. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Hey, thank
Nice
you,
to meet
thank you,
you all.
Charles. Thank you, Art. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
no, it's
Thank you.
great.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.